Thank you, Mr. Chairman. We stand here today with a budget that, even on its own terms, admits on page 48, item 52, is a budget of noticeable decline. And my Liberal Democrat colleagues have highlighted the damage that it will do to the social fabric of this county and to the services that so many people rely on. Damage that we should not forget is a damage of choice, voted for by Conservative councillors, Conservative ministers and Conservative MPs. But there's another area I want to highlight, and it was my decision to speak today was triggered by the comments made by Councillor Warwick. So I don't just want to talk about noticeable decline, I want to talk about noticeable complacency, especially relating to the climate emergency that we declared in July last year. Now, there was a slightly surprising comment made by Councillor Reid earlier, where he talked about wanting to, and I quote, be a lead for other organisations to follow on climate change. A slightly bold claim, I think, when the County Council has set an objective for its own activities of being carbon neutral by 2050, when Basingstoke-and-Deane has set the objective of 2030, when East Hampshire has set the objective of 2030, when Eastleigh has set the objective of 2025, when Portsmouth has set the objective of 2030, when Rushmore has set the objective of 2030, when Southampton has set the objective of 2030, and Winchester has set the objective of 2024. So I'm not entirely sure why the other organisations in Hampshire should be following a much less ambitious goal than every single other one appears to have set. And there is a point here. I need to declare an interest at this point, which may indicate to you quite how backward-looking and behind in terms of tackling the climate emergency this council is. The interest is simple. I have been backing the Greening Full Flood campaign since 2008. I went to the Greening Oliver's Battery launch, which unfortunately I don't think Councillor Warwick was there, also in 2008 as well. My interest is, non-prejudicial, that I actually host the website for the Greening Full Flood campaign and have done since 2012. So we get this announced as some great initiative to show the progress that we're trying to make, and it turns out to be a rehash of something that was last a big push on in about 2008, 11 years ago. To me, that shows no sign of treating this as an emergency. And indeed, one of the things that's very striking about this paper and about the Council's language to do with the climate emergency is the airbrushing of the word emergency. The term climate change appears 5 times as often in this budget paper as climate emergency, which appears only twice. The lack of ambition, the initiatives that are talked about, and I welcome the money that's been put into, are things that, frankly, I was campaigning and asking for change on LED lighting in 2017. I was asking for action on cycling in 2018. And we pass a climate emergency in 2019, and nothing is in this budget to show that we understand it as an emergency, to show that we understand that the 2050 target is wholly inadequate. And therefore, don't just reject this budget because it supports noticeable decline, but reject it as well because, frankly, it shows noticeable complacency on the biggest issue facing our planet and our county today.